20 goals a season, that's a top player. And let's face it, it is. 20 Premier League goals is very good and
Yeah.
quite difficult as defences have got better over the years. But he's going to score, certainly in all competitions, probably 40 or 50 goals, which is really what he's done so far. So Premier League, he's going to get certainly 25 to 30 goals, and that guarantees it. So I can understand them saying that's what we'll accept, but also it's another way of saying keep your hands off, because
Yeah.
who's going to pay, or who can afford to pay not only that money but then his wages, his salary. There's not many teams in the world,
Yeah. I
again,
don't
who are
think.
not subject to financial fair play rules that apply to most teams in the big foreign leagues and ours as well. So I think that's more a statement of go away, keep your hands off. If you
Yeah.
really want him, you're going to have to be talking that kind of, what is it, £250 million? And you think of it
I
like that,
know. I know.
it's crazy, crazy.
Oh.
But then, as a footballer,
Yeah.
if money was not an object and you were running a team, you'd say, "Yeah, I want Haaland because he'll score you the goals. He
Yeah.
will."
It will,
So
won't it?
he's worth it in today's market. I'd say he's definitely worth it.
Yeah. Well, fair play to them for get it. But then that would leave a huge hole in City's, attacking force. It would
Well,
leave
I
a
mean, they
huge
bought. Was it last year? They bought. Was it Mamouche? I think his name. And
mammoth. Yeah.
I thought at the time he's a very good footballer. He is, but really, who can possibly replace Haaland? Maybe a player will come through that does. I don't know, but
Mm.
he's so good that someone like Mamouche can do an adequate job, a good job, but he won't be a Haaland who can. I mean, I don't know how many hat tricks he got last season and the season before, but he was breaking records with a number of hat tricks. And even this year, he's been taken off just to rest him, I suppose, with European games to think about as well,
Mm.
on 2 goals. And it probably frustrates him that he gets taken off when he can't get another hat trick, because he's very good at scoring 3 goals, which in
It's
in the level of football,
yeah.
the cleverness of defensive football, the defenders, for
Yeah.
him to be able almost at will to beat the defence and score goals like he does is phenomenal. And I will call him a phenomenon, no
It
question about it.
is. It is. But is it seasonal? Is his goal seasonal? Because sometimes he seems to have this goal drop where, it doesn't really get the goals. And then sometimes it's like a goal fest. Is it
Yeah,
seasonal?
it's good, very good question. I mean, you could say that anything which involves human performance is
Mm.
almost bound to be seasonal, because
Uh,
quite simply we're not robots, and we
no.
we're not that predictable that we'll always do the same thing twice or whatever. So
Yeah.
we're always dependent on talent, on human abilities, and so on. So anybody can be seasonal. I think more the question with a footballer is, at what point will he start to lose a yard of pace? Now,
Right.
I mean, I'm not sure how old Haaland is. Is he 25, 26, something along those lines, I think?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't
It's
think he's
quite
any
young.
older than that. He's
No,
quite young still.
it is.
But there will come a time, and it shows you,
Mm.
what's the phrase? The minute you're born, you're dying. I mean, physically, not to drag us down into depths of despair by any means, but physically, we
Yeah.
as we get older, even from a very young age, we start to lose some of our physical capabilities, and that would certainly be the case in the 20s. I mean, tennis players used to become very famous and sometimes won grand slams in their teens. People like Tracy Austin, an American woman who now commentates an American woman who now commentates at Wimbledon and other places. She was a very young player, and lots of other, particularly the women. But I mean, Roger Federer won Wimbledon juniors when he was in his teens. So that's when very often people can be around their peak physically at the
Mm.
rate 18, 19, 20. They really can. And
Mm.
obviously, with today's trainers and coaching and the way people are made to eat and their fitness, the way they exercise, they keep themselves at a peak of fitness for a good few years. And
Mm.
you can tell that. We watch football, don't we? I go every week to football, and you see these young guys, and sometimes you think I could do better than that, mistakes made. And in my day, I possibly could. I used to think I was fairly reasonable at football. I used to love playing, but actually, you do hear it from them, from particularly people who join the Premier League from other leagues abroad. They say it's great, but the pace is incredible. It just
Right.
is incredible. And actually, if you watch closely on football, on television, but especially when you're there, the way they, after a run back to defend or for, they go down on their, put their hands on their knees, and they're really trying to get their breath. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a merciless game. You constantly need to be running that way, this way, and it looks so easy. Anything that's tough usually
Mm.
looks very easy to people.
Mm.
We think, oh, we can do that, and it's an impossible thing. So players have to be incredibly fit, inevitably. Yes. But okay, coming back to your point, seasonal, I think, happens when he gets to an age, probably 27, 28, when he loses a bit of pace. And of course, other players will pick up on that. They pick up on these things if they got the beating of someone they didn't used to have. So I
Mm.
think that's one thing. Yeah, he does have the occasional goal drought, which is a bit of a strong expression for him, but he might go 2 or 3 or 4 games. But then, as you say, you get a goal fest. He'll score 3, 4, 5 goals. He scored 5 in a European game, I think, fairly recently,
Mm.
where they won 11-1 or something.
Yeah.
So he will always be a top player as long as he can maintain his fitness. Players do get ACL injuries. Used
Did
to
you?
finish a
Yeah.
player's career years ago, but now,
Yeah.
technology health wise, they can get them back. Sometimes it takes a year to do it. And a
Yeah.
lot of women get those ACL injuries as well. I gather they're more prone to it because of the hip ratio, something like that. But that's a very serious injury. So as long as he can stay injury free, and I think he's probably got 3 or 4 or 5 years still of this blistering pace that he's got. And of course, let's face it, his height helps a bit as well because you watch
Just.
him at corners. I mean, he's